Hey patrons, if you're watching, you're getting the real behind the scenes, and you know that because I'm actually in front of the camera instead of behind it.
He's sweating a lot.
A little bit.
A lot.
Today we're going to be filming T is for trigger warnings and Q is for queer. Angel's here studying up, doing some last minute cramming. Instagram stories. And I'm going to be setting up for the shoot. You're going to see how we shoot, how we get all that done. Might even show you some of the editing process. And so here we go.
Hey, Iron Man.
It's actually really cold in here today. 63 degrees, which is really good for me because that means the AC probably won't turn on while we're recording, and I don't have to cut that out of the audio. So let me get you up on the tripod, and I will get the room set up to record. If you notice our massive vacuum, it's because we have a dog and 3 cats, and they just constantly, and I think consciously, shed all over the place all the time. If you want some of the nerdier tech specs of how everything works, Angel's using a Shure SM58. Rob is using a Behringer mic. I think it's the XM8500, and I just run them into the Zoom H6 field recorder, and I monitor with just a pair of Sony studio headphones. Come on in! Hey.
Oh, good, you're looking.
We're doing behind the scenes, so I'm actually in front of the camera for this one. Right now you're being filmed by that camera up there. So
that's awesome.
So I'm just gonna put out how we set it all up.
Okay.
You're gonna see a time lapse of me vacuuming.
Perfect.
We record all the video on my iPhone. It's mounted into that newer ring light.
Hello friends, it's Angel and Rob from Sex from A to Z, but this is not Sex from A to Z. We are bringing you some bonus content.
Yeah, so it turns out this episode isn't T for trigger warnings or Q for queer. They did an unboxing of a couple toys from Best Vibe.
Oh my god.
Oh!
That's aggressive.
So, okay, now, thank you for joining us, and see you next time. Hope we got some decent footage of that.
Out of everything we just
All
did,
the
I'm
shenanigans,
going to assume.
something in there is good. Okay, here's your...
All right, guys, it's a week later. It's time for me to actually start editing the video. If you guys want to see what I'm working with, this is the workstation. Just upgraded to a new monitor that helps me fit all my editing software in a lot easier. Just running off my laptop down there under that headphone amp. And yeah, we'll get right into it. So all editing starts with audio in Adobe Audition. I give everybody a little bit of EQ, denoising, and then compressing them to make it easier to listen to in the car. just to make the volume a little more level. From there, I move into Premiere Pro. That's where I do all the main editing. Right now, I'm just syncing up the video with the audio. I use the audio from my phone to sync up the audio from the recorder and then delete the audio from my phone. Here you see I'm using After Effects, and that's where I will do just the different graphics and moving special effects. This part coming up is kind of fun. Rob is pointing the toy at us, and the insertion hole, I thought, kind of looked like the Eye of Mordor, so I made one in Photoshop, and I'm just going to track it over the opening of the toy. Here, Angel said that the toy looks like it should have this like angelic glow behind it, and so now I'm back in After Effects just making that glow happen. And just timing in when it fades in and out. Back to Premiere Pro and render it. So the SpongeBob 2 hours later thing is kind of a callback to our first toy review. We came back after a couple hours to let the batteries recharge and have that be our little time travel. This time, the hosts were kind of anticipating that I was going to do that, and so they put on their little French accents and did it into the mic, and so you'll hear in the end video that I cut their voices into it instead of using the actual video from the show. Most of this is just a lot of cutting. The amount that we recorded was about 50 minutes, and I think the final product was 19 minutes. And so that's almost 3/4 of it left on the cutting room floor. So what you see in the end result is actually completely out of order from how we recorded it. I just found a way that the narrative flowed better, and that was just a little easier to digest. And that's why you see those little cards 1 hour earlier. We just went back in time and then back forward into the review where we are now. So a lot of the editing is making these lower thirds. I'm actually not going to use this one. Angel remembered later that she got a card for a free toy, which you see right there. And so I ended up deleting that first Patreon video and making another one, which I think you'll see coming up. There it is. So altogether, the setup for the recording took about 20 minutes. The recording itself, I think I said earlier, was like 50 minutes. This editing process took about 4 hours. Now I went through the whole video and I'm just going to go through it one more time to see if I missed anything. Also, since I have the end of the video fresh in my mind, when I watch it again, I can see if I have anything from later in the video that I want earlier, which actually does turn out to be the case in this video. Oh, coming up here, I noticed that Nikki was reading off of the website in the background, and it was a little hard to hear, so I just added her captions. And really what I'm going to do now is what I do at the end of every episode, and that's creating our intros and outros. Instead of using the regular Sex from A to Z one, I just created this one from scratch. Adding our theme music to it. And all these are done in After Effects as well. And now that it's all done, I'm going to send it over to export. And then it's all finished. If you enjoyed watching this kind of thing, it was really fun to make for me, so if you'd like to see more of this in the future, just let us know.